Imagine being your own boss, setting your own hours and making 50K a year. Sounds great, right? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to get there in as little as 3 months. But there is one enormous and all too common trap that a lot of new driving instructors fall into. So stick around and I will tell you exactly what it is and more importantly, how you can avoid it. Hey, I'm Matt and today I'm going to be your co-pilot on the road to becoming a driving instructor. So whether you're after a career change, more freedom or a fresh challenge, this journey could be your ticket. So let's dive in. Before we hit the road though, let's take a look at the journey ahead. So we're going to break this down into 5 key stages. 1, getting qualified. 2, passing the tests. 3, completing your training. 4, understanding the costs. And 5, gaining experience. We'll be coming back to this roadmap throughout the video to keep things clear and nice and easy to follow. So fasten your seatbelts and let's get started. Alright, first up, getting qualified. To start, you need to hold a full UK driving licence for at least 3 years and be at least 21 years old. But that's not all. The DVSA also requires you to pass a criminal background check and meet certain medical requirements, you know, like being able to see. Think of it as checking the mirrors before setting off on a journey. Just making sure everything's in order and that you're ready to go. Some people worry about the background checks or the medical requirements, but really these things are generally pretty straightforward, especially if you're in good health and you have a clean record. The goal here is just to make sure that you're fit to be an instructor and can safely handle the responsibility of teaching others. Alright, so now you're qualified, let's move on to the next stop on our journey. Next up, passing the tests. This is where things start to get a bit more serious, but don't worry, I'm here to guide you through it. The theory test. First, there's a theory test. Very similar to the learner theory test you probably took way back in the day, but with an extra focus on instructional knowledge. You'll be tested on road rules and safety, but also on your ability to explain them clearly to others. I always recommend taking your time with this one, don't rush it. Read up on it, use online practice tests, and make sure you're comfortable with all the material. The driving ability test. Alright, so now let's talk about the driving ability test. This one's designed to evaluate your driving skills under pressure. Imagine this like showing off your driving in front of a really strict teacher. The examiner will be looking for confidence, safety, and good technique. But remember, it's not just about being a good driver anymore. It's about setting the right example. Finally, we've got the big one, the instructional ability test. Think of this as the final boss, the most challenging but also the most rewarding, because it's where you'll really prove your teaching skills. In this test, you'll be assessed on how well you can communicate and guide learners, keeping them safe while building their confidence. These tests might seem daunting, but much like your student driving test, with the right instructor, it's a breeze. If you want an experienced instructor with a solid track record, check us out via the top link in the description and we would love to get you qualified. Alright, we've covered a lot so far, but we're really just halfway through our journey. Keep that roadmap in mind as we move on to our next stop. Now let's get into stage 3, completing your training. Now this stage is crucial because it's not just about passing the tests, it's about preparing for your future career. Training is where you build the skills and knowledge you'll need to be a great instructor, and there are 2 main paths you can take: independent study or structured training with a provider. So going the independent route gives you a lot of flexibility, especially if you are juggling other responsibilities or prefer just learning at your own pace. But if you like structure, working with a training provider like us can be a solid option. We'll give you a clear path and lots of support to help you succeed. Whichever path you choose, just make sure it suits your learning style and your budget. Okay, let's pause for a minute and check back with our roadmap. We've tackled getting qualified, passing the tests, and training. Next up, we're going to talk money and, of course, that big trap that I mentioned earlier. Right, let's talk money. I mean, this is US dollar fake money, but it's money, right? You get the point. Becoming a driving instructor involves a financial investment, and that's what stage 4 is all about. Think of this as planning the budget for a long road trip. You want to make sure you've got everything covered so that there's no surprises further down the line. There are a few main costs to consider. First, the fees for the test. These can add up, especially if you need to retake any. Then there's the cost of training, which varies depending on whether you go independent or choose a training provider. And finally, if you decide to join a franchise, well, you'll need to budget for their fees too. But here's the good news. There's a way to make it more manageable. Many training providers offer payment plans, and in some cases you might even qualify for grants or government funding. So while the upfront costs might seem like a lot, think of it as an investment into your future. Stage 5, gaining experience and the trap reveal. Now that you've got the basics sorted, it is time for the final stage, gaining experience. This is where you really start to build your career as a driving instructor. The goal here is to get out there, build a reputation and start attracting students. But here's where many new instructors hit a huge roadblock. So you remember that common trap that I mentioned earlier? It's about joining big driving schools and getting tied into restrictive franchise agreements. These contracts can seem like a great idea at first. They offer guaranteed students and resources, which sounds pretty appealing, right? But in reality, these arrangements often lock you into really long-term commitments with hefty fees that are cutting deeply into your earning. The key to avoiding this trap is to just do your homework and think long-term. You don't have to jump into a franchise agreement right away. Instead, consider starting out on your own and building your reputation independently. There are loads of tools and strategies to help you market yourself and attract students, and I will be covering those in future videos. So there you have it, your complete roadmap to becoming a driving instructor, avoiding common pitfalls and setting yourself up for success. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because in my next videos, we'll be diving into how to build a client base and maximize your income as an independent instructor. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, every successful journey starts with a single step. So let's make sure yours is a step in the right direction, and I will see you in the next video.